Thank you for tuning in to Abundant Moments. Sometimes we have people in our lives that we love so very much, and they have problems that they face, that they go through, and sometimes it's addiction, and sometimes it's just habits that they formed that cause their lives to not be blessed and not be like God would desire for them to be. And sometimes we get involved with those situations out of the goodness of our heart, and we don't even realize that we're not helping them, but we are hindering them. I can remember years ago there was a family that the son just didn't want to work, and it was like the mom and dad always took care of the son, and then he got married and took care of his wife, and then had a child and took care of them. And I remember talking to them one day because they were so frustrated, and they were saying, how can we ever retire because we have this one to take care of and this one and this one. And I said, you don't understand. You're not helping your son by enabling him to not become a man, but you are hurting him. But they were thinking, but if we say anything to him, we've done it this long, we don't want to upset him, we don't want him to hate us. And when you think about that, many times when we are enabling people, the reason we continue is for selfish reasons. We don't want them to get upset with us, or we don't want them to think bad of us. And so we say, well, I got to keep doing this. But unconditional love takes yourself out of the picture and looks at the circumstance and says, what is truly best for this individual? What I always like to do when I'm going through something like that in my life is I like to take myself out of the situation and say, now, if somebody were coming to me for counseling, what would I tell them? And when you begin to do that, take yourself out of the picture, then you can see things more clearly, and you won't continue to enable people, but you will do the best for them. And sometimes it's difficult to do, but unconditional love means that we are going to do what is best no matter what. And sometimes unconditional love means separating from people. It doesn't mean you don't love them, but you can still separate so they can get their lives in order and they can get their lives back on track, and you are not there to enable them and continue to allow them to go down that road of destruction. So I wanted to share this with you today. A lot of times there are family members that just continue to enable someone, and it's because they have goodness in their hearts and they really don't want that person to be upset with them. So if this is you, or if you know someone like this today, then share this with them, because really God wants us to every one of us have abundant lives, and he wants us to not enable other people to actually fulfill their destiny, because sometimes we stop them by continuing to enable them, and we stifle their growth spiritually, sometimes financially, physically, emotionally, and we don't mean to, but we do. So as you think about this today, really think about this by taking yourself out of the equation. And if you need to, remember, you can always just continue to love them from a distance, and God will honor your love. Thank you for tuning in.